Hi everyone, I'm Arthur E. Benjamin, and this is For the Love of Dogs TV, and I'm joined by Farrah White and Bandit, and today we're going to introduce you to an organization I love, whose mission is to simply end animal suffering.
When disaster strikes, Animal Rescue Corps lead into action. This nonprofit animal organization helps rescue animals who fall victim to natural disasters or other abusive circumstances. Before we introduce you to our guest, let's take a look at singer-songwriter Sheryl Crow's involvement with ARC. Watch this.
Hi, I'm Sheryl Crow, and I'm a musician and a mother, and this is Buttercup. She's also a mother, but not by choice. She's a survivor of a puppy mill. Buttercup spent her life in a dirty wooden hutch, forced to produce litter after litter. She never went to a veterinarian or a groomer. She never had a soft spot to rest or a kind touch. She existed this way in cruel isolation year after year. Puppy mills are mass production factories where mother dogs suffer their entire lives, producing nearly 100% of puppies sold in pet stores and on the internet. When these dogs are no longer able to produce, they are often destroyed. Buttercup's nightmare ended the day Animal Rescue Corps saved her life. She finally knows what it means to have a loving family, but for the millions of dogs suffering in the estimated 15,000 puppy mills across the United States, this nightmare continues. Animal Rescue Corps and I ask you to visit your local shelter or rescue when choosing your next animal companion. You will not only be saving a life, you will be helping put an end to this cruel industry. Please go to animalrescuecorps.org to learn more about ending puppy mills. Buttercup and I thank you.
One of ARC's biggest supporters is my co-host Arthur Benjamin and American Dog Rescue. He has helped sponsor their biggest rescues. Monica, is it Eiley? Ailey, I knew that, is part of the Texas team called into action. She joins us here with more on this amazing organization, and welcome.
Thank you.
Can't thank you enough for being here, and tell us this little pumpkin's name that's in your lap.
This is Teddy.
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 He's beautiful.
Thank you. He came from one of our rescues in Southeast Texas.
Really?
So, yeah. So he's available for adoption through Animal Rescue of Texas, and they are one of our placement partners.
And he is bright, sweet, talks but doesn't bark. Teddy, hey, how are you?
He knows his name.
He knows his name. Now, Monica, how did you first get involved with ARC?
Well, I met Scotland Halsey. He's the founder of Animal Rescue Corps. We basically were doing a rescue out in Texas, in East Texas, and when he founded Animal Rescue Corps, he asked me to be his Texas state liaison. So, and then with Animal Rescue of Texas, they basically we don't place dogs directly, so we rescue them from the situations that they're in. Such as puppy mills and hoarding cases and whatnot, and we need placement partners that specialize in placing animals, and so Animal Rescue of Texas joined our placement partner group, and that's where Teddy is right now. He's in foster care.
Okay, and tell us a little bit more, like who's behind ARC?
Scotland Halsey, he's the founder. He's the founder.
And then you literally just go through and find partnerships with different people to help you place?
Yes, yes we do. And we have a team. Our team consists of people that have been doing this sort of rescue work for years and years. And so we do, when we get called on a large-scale cruelty or animal suffering, and it could be a hoarding case, it could be puppy mills, it could be natural disasters even. So we've done rescues like that. There's just as an example, there was a case in East Texas that Arthur, you funded, and thank you for that. It was a case that the dogs were going to be shot. There were about 100 dogs on a hoarding case, and the lady had abandoned them, and there were no other options because this community only had a $1,000 budget to take care of the problem, and the only way they could end their suffering was to shoot them. So when I was contacted, I called Scotland and told them the situation. He called you to see if you could help, and together we were able to help these animals get out of that situation. And Teddy was not one of them, but there was a almost back-to-back rescue that we did in that same area. That it was a puppy mill, and Teddy came from that situation. So.
Yeah, and what I like about Animal Rescue Corps is when Scotland called me, he said there were 100 dogs that were going to be shot, and he said, you know, can you help? And I said, let's talk about it. And he said, well, I just want you to know the trucks are already rolling and we're on our way there. Whether you help or not, we're committed to it, which is great because he won't let it happen.
Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just, I guess you never, and I haven't actually, since we've been doing this, heard of a situation like that, where that was going to be how they were going to, anyone was going to respond to a situation.
And you have different areas of the country, and actually Canada that you
Yes.
covered. There was a wonderful Indian tribe.
Yes, Operation Anishinaabe. That was a wonderful deployment where we were able to provide help to the Indian Native American community. They were overrun with with dogs, and so basically, they about every so often they would round them up and shoot them, and so that was their resolution to the problem.
That's pretty typical on Indian reservations. The dogs mate a year later. They're big dogs, and they round up the dogs and shoot most of them, and then the ones that are left have puppies. A year later, they grow up and they do it again. Well, this was a way of teaching the tribe how to manage the dog population, because all of the dogs were spayed and neutered at the same time that remained there, so that will never happen again there. And it's actually a model for other Indian tribes all over the U.S. and in Canada.
Great.
It was amazing. It was an amazing rescue. It was it was filled with education as well, which was very important, even down to the children. Scotland went, and the Canada liaison went to the school to educate the children as well as the adults. So it was great, and all the animals there, all the dogs there were spayed and neutered. So it was just an incredible rescue.
Well, tell us about Operation Broken Chain.
That was real recent.
Yes, we just got through with that. That lasted, I believe, 4 or 5 weeks. It was a very long rescue.
Oh, wow.
Yes, it's a very long rescue. We got a call about 2:30 in the morning the day after Thanksgiving, and Cheatham County, the fire department, found about 60 chained dogs, and it wasn't that they were all chained. The issue was more so that you could tell they were suffering. They were emaciated. They had sores, scars on their face, and so they called the police and animal control. And we have a good relationship with Cheatham County Animal Control, so they called Animal Rescue Corps to come and help with the problem. So we were able to confiscate the dogs and take them to our temporary shelter. We were able to evaluate them, and they are now, the majority of them, more than 3/4 of them, I believe, are placed now in rescues. So, and these were dog fighting.
In most cases.
Oh, they were?
A dog fighting
so
situation.
that was the scarring.
In most cases, just to educate those who aren't familiar with these situations, the police or the fire department find the situation and they're not equipped to handle it. There are 100 dogs. There are 4 policemen in the community, and what are they going to do? They don't even know what to do, and you know, so they call Animal Rescue Corps or another organization like Animal Rescue Corps, but the dogs have to be ordered by a judge to be given up.
Right.
So they go into a temporary shelter that you
You mean
set up.
given up from whoever owned them?
Yes.
Right. We request custody of the animals.
And that can take anywhere from 4 days to a month, usually, until the judge looks at it and says, these dogs have been mistreated, abused, or whatever, and we're awarding them to you. Then they're placed through partner organizations all over the country. And the nice thing about Animal Rescue Corps, as I understand it, is they send the dogs that are most adoptable to the parts of the country where those dogs can be adopted. So small dogs like Teddy a lot of them go to places like Florida and California and places where small dogs and big dogs go to Montana and Salt Lake City and
Right.
other places. So they're very cognizant that more dogs will be adopted if they go to a place that people are akin. Yellow dogs go to a certain part of the country. Black dogs go to other parts of the country because the people prefer that particular
Right.
color or breed of dog.
Well, and what is wonderful is that our director of outreach, Carla Goodson, she puts a lot of time into making sure that they're placed exactly where they need to be. And in the case of Operation Broken Chain with a bunch of dog fighting dogs, it was a little. It definitely became, you know, a tough
Sure.
effort here. And so, but she's done a great job, and the you know, we've supported you know, the organizations that have received the dog fighting dogs. And so what's great is that they're going into organizations that are equipped internally to deal with the situations that behavioral issues that they'll have. So.
And a little known fact is that Scotland personally was involved from the very beginning in rehabbing Michael Vick's dogs.
Yes, that's very. Yes.
So that was one of the hardest rehab cases, and they managed to save, I believe, all but 2 of Michael Vick's dogs,
Wow.
So it's
which
possible.
is amazing.
It's
Right.
amazing because it's possible.
And they're all in homes lovingly. They've learned to give up their bad behaviors, and they're in the right homes. And Teddy we're going to have a problem, ladies and gentlemen, because I can't take another dog. And I'm in love with this little
He's
dog.
been eyeing Teddy.
So somebody needs to step up and make a phone call and let us know you want Teddy, because Bandit is a traveling dog and goes with me everywhere. But I've got dogs in the other places that I live, and I'm going to get killed if I take another
Listen
dog
to you.
home.
Well, I've got 2 big rescues, so I will trade a big rescue and I will take a little rescue, because that one I could take with me.
Well, Blackie and Whitey have been on the show. And they're 2
Whitey has not got to come on the show yet, but he will.
And so Blackie's up for adoption?
Yes.
All right.
So
So
we'll-
call Farah
Yes.
through our number if you're interested in Blackie.
Yeah. Well, yeah. We'll put some pictures up of him later. But back to you guys. You also participated a lot in Hurricane Isaac.
Yes, we did.
Tell us about that.
Yes, we got a call from an organization in Mississippi and an organization in Louisiana that had been affected by the storm. And so basically, they, in particular, the one in Mississippi, their area had been damaged by, their shelter had been damaged by the storm. So prior to the storm, what tends to happen is people start dumping dogs off at the shelters. So they were already full. Then people start dumping off dogs at the shelters while they evacuate. And then from there, the storm hits, they get the damage, and then afterwards, they can't be a resource to the community like they would normally. So they called us and said, listen, we had damage, we need help. We would like to see what you guys can do to help us. And so what we were able to do is to go in and take some of the animals that were already there, that were legally theirs, and move them out to our placement partners so that they were able to open the doors back up and become a resource to the community again for the animals that were displaced by the storm. So,
Well, I'm curious. Did you get a call after Hurricane Sandy?
we did. We kind of assessed that situation. We did have another situation that was going on in the background. So, we had to kind of, even though we wanted to do more for Hurricane Sandy, we did have another situation that was calling on us. So,
Well, I just have to share this. You don't even know it. But Little Bandit was introduced by Mayor Bloomberg in New York City on stage at Cipriani's restaurant as the first ever pet ventriloquist, first ever rescue ventriloquist, with his dummy, Arthur. And Bandit got up and talked through me, and Bandit raised $150,000 for dog rescue.
Wow.
So
Wow.
he's done a pretty good job this month.
Now, wasn't there also congratulations, Bandit, and thank you for all of your efforts. He is pretty amazing. But wasn't there also a Mastiff rescue, and was that in Canada? Where was
that was in Arizona.
Arizona?
Yes.
Okay.
We had got a call from someone in Arizona. There was a Mastiff mill, puppy mill, and this lady had been in business for a long, long time, and she had dwindled down to, to Mastiffs basically. So we were told that they were living in deplorable conditions. There were pictures of mammary tumors on dogs. There were pictures of sores and other issues, medical issues with these dogs. And so Scotland happened to be in Arizona, and I was able to call the sheriff's department and set up a meeting so that we could see if we could help them. And they accepted our help. We went in and spoke with the lady, removed the Mastiffs, and they were pretty awesome dogs. They were, but especially from the situation they came from, because most of them didn't have any water, and this was in the summer in Arizona. Most of them didn't have any water. They were living on dirt and within their feces. And one of the things that amazed me is when I first got on property, we were trying to remove the dogs, and you're looking for a gate, you're looking for a door to try and get to them. There was nothing. I don't know how they fed or watered them. They must have just thrown food in every now and then, and maybe that's why they didn't have water. But so we had to cut the wire out and pull hard. I mean, the grass had grown through it, so it had been, I don't know how long, before we could, just pull that off. But it was so overgrown. And what was amazing too was how wonderful those dogs were.
How many were there?
Oh, there were over 20. It was a small rescue, but for these big dogs.
Oh, yeah.
For these big dogs, it was because this lady had dwindled down to them. She had other breeds before, and
But they were all sweet. And
they were so sweet, and they had such funny personalities, and they were definitely. We partnered with the Bull Mastiff Rescue in Arizona, Louisiana, and Texas. So we were able to place them all, and they're all doing great.
Well, we saw the PSA featuring Sheryl Crow. What's her involvement?
Well, she obviously supports Animal Rescue Corps, and her thing is that she wants to educate the public on the suffering of these mothers and the puppies and the animals living in puppy mills. So she's very excited about it.
And what can people do to get involved in ARC?
Well, we have we're very fortunate to have a very large network of volunteers in the Dallas-Fort Worth area. So people can come and volunteer with us on a rescue. We also need administrative help and other things like that. Obviously donating, and just sharing our message, sharing our work, because we're doing it to save their lives, but we're also doing it to educate the public.
If you had to choose one piece, what's the favorite part of your job?
Wow, that's kind of tough, because I do love to look into complaints of basically put a case together. That's
investigation.
Right, but
That's cool.
But I think what keeps me going is when I get to pull them off of the property and look at them and just say, you don't have to do this anymore.
Monica.
That's what keeps me doing it. And so many people ask, how do you do it? How do you see what you see and continue to do it? And this is it. It's when you have them right here and you can look at them and just say, you don't have to do this anymore. It's over.
Monica, you are amazing, and thank you so much for all that you do, and thanks for being here today on the
Thank
show.
you.
If you want to learn more about Animal Rescue Corps, visit their website, animalrescuecorps.org.
And when we come back, we'll look at a few rescues that will change your art. Stay with us.
So, I'm kind of new here, but I've noticed a trend. My human does this funny thing where she goes around and gets all my toys, and then she hides them in that basket by the door. But it's always the same basket. and it's always in the same place. And then she acts so surprised when I find them, but, she's putting them in the same basket again. It's like, hello, that's where you put it last time. You were the worst at hide and go seek.
Welcome back to For the Love of Dogs. Animal rescues happen all the time, even when Bandit's sleeping. But extremely brave people who risk their own lives to save another one are needed. And sometimes a rescue comes at a moment it's needed the most.
Buster, a 63-pound Rhodesian Ridgeback Shepherd mix, ran away from his New York City home weeks after Hurricane Sandy. His family couldn't find him anywhere, but had to leave their damaged Belle Harbor, Queens home. Buster's family searched for Buster for weeks, but they couldn't find him.
It wasn't until the middle of December that Buster resurfaced, but he was spotted on a Facebook page called Death Row Dogs. It's a Facebook page that tries to save dogs who are scheduled to be euthanized in the immediate future. When Buster's urgent message came out, a friend of Buster's family saw it and knew it was Buster immediately, but couldn't find the family. So Kim Frazier, the friend, took in Buster in temporary housing and tried to track down the family.
So Buster was scheduled to be put down the very next morning. So Kim had to put a hold on him until the family could be found. Well, finally, they were found, and they did get to the shelter. Buster was alive and well. The entire O'Donovan clan, 5 children in all, were there to see Buster. And Buster wasn't the only dog saved that day. The O'Donovans couldn't stand to see Buster's new friend to be euthanized, so they adopted Nico too.
By some miracle, Buster was recognized on a Facebook page. What's the chances? And his life and the life of his friend were spared. Nico's now up for adoption, looking for a forever family. And so if you want to learn more about Nico, visit Sasha's Mission on Facebook and talk with Kim Frazier, who saved both Nico and Buster's lives.
As we mentioned, people risk their lives every day to rescue an animal. We found some video from January of 2010 of a Los Angeles rescue team trying to save a dog stranded for more than an hour in the Los Angeles River.
A CBS crew captured this entire live rescue event on video, and as you can tell, it was very touch and go. Watch this as it all unfolded live on the air.
That's right. We positioned the helicopter a little better so we can see both the firefighter, the dog, and the helicopter. And you're right, the dog, that firefighter has got his arms around the dog. Dog seems to be resisting the firefighter, as we have seen that dog do from the previous effort. So if he gets a hold of the dog, perhaps brings him back up into the helicopter, this might be the end of it. So we're hoping for that outcome, and we're probably going to see here in just a moment. There you can see the helicopter moving away from the bank, and up he comes, and he's got the dog. This is one of the more unusual rescues that we've seen here with these Swiftwater rescue teams. He's on the hook, coming back up with the dog. The dog may have resigned himself right now to go ahead and comply with his rescuers. We're seeing the helicopter rotate around here now. We're going to get a better view of the firefighter as he comes up into the door. If he can hold on to the dog, get himself to the door, secure the dog. Of course, we're hoping that this firefighter doesn't spin too much. That's one of the difficulties they often have with these hook rescues. Just that last second, it looks like they abandoned trying to bring him up into the helicopter, but drop him down onto the bridge here. We're going to try and get you the name of the bridge. This is actually in the city of Vernon. That's how far south from the original place where they saw him. Again, looks like they've got him and on dry ground. So what turned out to be a problematic River rescue here in the Los Angeles River. Looks like it's coming to an end with the dog rescue here on the bridge. It's going to maneuver onto the other side, the side of the river.
Thanks again to CBS News in LA for sharing this heroic video.
It was amazing.
Well, it was really smart that they just decided to go to the bridge because that dog doesn't know what's going on, so he's fighting the whole time.
Well, it's terribly frightening for a person or a
Oh,
dog
yeah.
to be in water for that long. Water's usually cold. They get exhausted. They're just fighting for their lives. And somebody grabs you, you're just, don't bother me.
Well, yeah, he doesn't know. Then he thinks he's fighting the elements in addition to fighting this person that's grabbing at him. So.
But you could see once he hit dry ground,
Oh, yeah.
he's tired.
Oh, I bet the guy was tired too.
I'll bet he was. What a wrestling match. And boy, I can't spin like that without, when we were up on the helicopter and up above
Yeah.
Canada for the birth of the seals, it was very easy to get dizzy.
It was. I'm dizzy just having watched that. But I'm really glad that that turned out okay. And it was. It's just you're on pins and needles watching.
It's amazing what we do for dogs here. And again, we want to call attention to the meat trade in Southeast Asia and ask people to go to the website and take a look at picking out one of our projects that moves you and becoming part of it by donating.
Please, just push that button.
Yeah, and that's all the time we really have for today for the show. Thanks much to Monica Helly for coming from Animal Rescue Corps and for being our guest and for all that she does to save animals after every disaster.
Yeah, that was truly, really heartfelt, everything that she had to say and her reasons for doing it. Remember to keep up with For the Love of Dogs online at AmericanDogRescue.org and be sure to follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and YouTube.
And Bandit says, thanks for watching, and he'll see you next time.
So, I just moved in with this family, and it's embarrassing. The little one, he likes to go outside and crawl around in the giant litter box. I don't know what he's doing. I mean, I was born and I knew how to use the litter box. Look at that. That's disgusting. Oh, poop already. You're making me nervous. Oh, okay, I can't look at this anymore. I really hope he grows out of this, for his sake.